Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. This presentation is called Welcome to the Technocracy. We'll take a look at what the post-Great Reset is going to look like. While it's no secret that we are being thrust into some new world order, as the elites have been telling us now for decades, even centuries, when one begins to read the books that they've written over the years. Take the book The Next Million Years by Charles Galton Darwin, grandson of the famous eugenicist and globalist agent that we all know so well, where Darwin lays out the plot for his final revolution, as they called it. We first must understand who this guy is and where he came from. As stated, he is the grandson, although some say he is the cousin, of eugenics founder Charles Darwin, the architect of the survival of the fittest motto, which would later be used as the foundation for their political ideology, now known as communism, where they would exploit inequalities as a pretext for societal revolution and justify it with survival of the fittest, because that was the science, the natural order of things. Galton clearly followed in his family's footsteps and eventually coined the word eugenic, from the Greek word well-born. Eugenic, Galton claimed, pertains to racial improvement by boosting the birth rate of the well-born to the levels where they speedily prevailed over the less suitable strains or socially less well-born classes. Folks, these people are the definition of supremacists. They are racists, ladies and gentlemen. And he never really elaborates on what it really means to be well-born. Well-born according to whom? Who decides this and based on what criteria? Will they decide? The elite controllers? Are they the ones deciding? Not you or me, but them? In this book, Darwin seems to lay out a scenario where humans will be exposed to radiation and other pollutants that came along with this new industrial revolution, and will be in a survival of the fittest type of scenario. In this new industrial world, progress will come at the cost of a decline in physical and mental health, therefore allowing for the strong or the fit to carry on while the weak and the infirm and their posterity die off. 70 years later, when we notice all of the new diseases and cancer rates exploding, Darwin's words become prophetic. Logical thinkers have been connecting the increases in cancer directly to our modern lifestyles, exposure to chemicals in our plastic bottles, exposure to harmful chemicals through fertilizer and insecticides, and GMOs in our food, exposures to dangerous chemicals in the workplace. Heck, even Johnson & Johnson's baby powder was shown to give kids cancer. Darwin claimed that this widespread increase in death and disabilities would justify this survival of the fittest mentality. And this is important. Survival of the fittest is necessary. Necessary because it removes God from the picture. If you study these people and their writings and plans, you'll know that God must be eliminated, as we know, in order for them to assume his vacancy. Once they've gotten you to thinking and living like an animal, then you will eventually accept this new class system. The disabled and infirm will have no place. In fact, they will be a drag on society, unnecessarily left behind as the rest of the sheep strive to become gods, as the new religion will teach them. And it looks as though it's all by design. One of the quotes from Darwin I'd like to share quickly, Charles Darwin. He says, "It's not the strongest of the species that survive, not the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change." As Galton's grandfather, Charles Darwin, says there, the ones who will survive will be the ones who are willing to change. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that this change he speaks of is a change according to the controllers. He's saying that those who are going to be willing to go along with their new system to change will be the ones who will survive. He even says that the smart ones, the ones who will fight against them, will not survive. And this sounds a lot like what happened when they forced the world to change into this fake liberal world order during the first half of the 20th century, when hundreds of millions of people died. Or even the change that they were forcing upon the world now, upon us, with a bioweapon killing millions, a serious regional conflict in Ukraine killing thousands, with a world war looming, one that could kill hundreds of millions. And of course, whatever else they have planned that we don't yet know about. We can glean glimpses of their final plans when we look at the quotes and read the writings of many of the main players, like globalist science high priest Noah Harari. He said, "Humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have this soul or spirit and nobody knows what's happening inside them and they have free will, that's over," in a really creepy, villainous voice with that accent. You know which accent. They plan on taking your souls, folks, your spirit itself, and you will have no free will. Or you could say you will have no choice. They will tell us that free will is what makes us inferior, mortal, and that by downloading a program into our brain that allows for a super hive computer to deduce every single choice that we are faced with down to a mathematical equation, allowing us to make the best possible statistical choice on whatever matter it is, effectively eliminating your free will, dear readers, dear listeners, relegating you to nothing more than a common animal in the jungle. All of this new tech and new mindset will have everybody striving to transcend humanity and become gods, just as the ancient mystery schools wrote extensively about, as well as today's secret societies like the Freemasons, of which I was one when I infiltrated a lodge some years ago. However, in their writings, it was only the elect, the initiated, who transcended into gods. They make no mention of the rest. The elect, or the initiated, seems to mean, in today's terms, the elite. The elite, dear listeners, they will transcend into gods using the suppressed technology that we've probably got ready to roll out right now for themselves. They will transcend into gods right before our eyes, giving us a goal to strive for. One day we could do the same. If we are true to this new way of living, this new religion or cult, as would be more appropriate. Of course, none of them ever will. And as they're hacking into us, as they've openly stated, these elites and their life extension abilities and their fancy tech will rule over the masses as their gods. Just as today we see our God as our creator, the one who created us, we will look at our elite gods as our creators, the ones who created us in their image. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for listening.